You've decided to take the step into coaching and consulting and building an empire around your ideas and your expertise. Congratulations. That's a big step. And it's a lot of fun because your business can be whatever you want it to be. And you can interact with people however you want to interact. If you're more comfortable with educational programs, if you're more comfortable with the one-on-one coaching, if you're more comfortable with the group coaching environment, all of those options are out there for you as you build your consulting empire around the solution that you provide in the workplace. So today in the Consultant's Corner, I'm going to talk about a few things about how to inspire you to think about your expertise in a different way. And the reason that we should do this as we step into consulting and as we step into coaching, or even if you're current consultants and coaches and you want to add some juice to what you offer, you want to add some opportunities, you want to add some different revenue streams, it's really important to think about different ways that you can adapt to the new environment. I think COVID is the perfect example of that. COVID happened, and the businesses that couldn't adapt to COVID by making more e-commerce sites or putting their coaching online that couldn't do those things really didn't survive that long. And it also created these new opportunities for new businesses to show up. I'm on Zoom right now. That's a good example of a business that really adapted and was thriving in that space. And now it has changed our work environment. We can reach so many different people. We can talk to different people all over the world. We have the opportunity to really take advantage of these tools and build our own revenue blueprint from the ideas that we step into when we get into coaching and consulting. So we're at an exciting time. Just to give you kind of an overview, I'm going to talk about the reason that we want to think more broadly about our consulting ideas, but then also think about the impact and the influence that you want to make. So we'll talk about a few different things to be able to really position you in the mindset of consultants that offers a unique solution to people, or a coach that has this new process that might be unique for a person to buy. So the significance is all about increasing your influence and your visibility, and you are becoming the go-to expert in your area for whatever you coach or whatever you want to consult when you enter your idea into the marketplace. So let's talk about building some multiple streams of revenue. I can list off some multiple streams of revenue that you can build around your expertise, but you have an expertise and you deliver it in multiple different ways. And it's all about the communication that matches your audience. So your expertise can be a webinar. It can be a digital program. It can be something that's a YouTube video series. But your expertise can be delivered in a one-on-one way when you talk to clients and coaches one-on-one to be able to help them transform in the way that your program has. You can deliver your expertise in a group environment. You can deliver your expertise at speaking engagements. And those are all in training sessions. Those are all different ways that you can take one idea and one formatted solution and expertise and really intellectual property and enter it into the marketplace. But then if you can deliver it in multiple different ways, then your opportunities to build your entire revenue blueprint is just is exponential, because you can reach so many different people. You need a lot of things to make that happen, but there are the possibilities by entering consulting or coaching arena are just really endless. So there's a few steps before we go, because you can buy courses. Courses are a dime a dozen now. Programs, you can buy those things for very, very cheap now. There's a lot of competition out there. With the advent of AI, it becomes a lot easier for people to put all of those ideas together. So as a coach or consultant that's entering the marketplace, it's important to do a little market research. Understand what's out there. And the thing that you have, though, that differentiates you from those AI generated programs and from those very quickly put together ideas is that you are a person that's delivering this, and you have the human touch, and it all comes in this brand and this loyalty that people have to you as a coach and you as a thought leader. And that's really what makes the big difference here, is that you're delivering this idea and you're delivering it in a way that is different and unique. And that's what it is really at the core of a diversified revenue plan, is being able to balance your high ticket offers, your low ticket offers, and then your free material that you have because you value putting your ideas out into the world. So when you set these goals for your audience and you set these goals for your own possibility of revenue streams, then the possibilities are really endless. So how do you really differentiate as a coach and as a consultant in this crowded space of very quick experts that have just decided to go online? You differentiate in quite a few different ways. You've got to build some authority in your marketplace. And that comes with not only your digital presence and what you're saying about yourself online, but what videos do you have? What ideas do you have? What speaking engagements do you have that can all go around establishing your authority in the marketplace? When have you been invited to speak before? What other opportunities and engagements have you had? What other clients have you had where there is some sort of transformation? When you begin to build your authority around you and you start to have some accolades and you start to have some credible things behind your name and some credible events behind your name, that's when you really start to build credibility and trust within your industry. And as you step into a consultant space, that's something that's really not easy to do, but it's something that takes some massaging. You've got to get into that and move into that space. I'll tell you a personal story about me and my transition from an academic to an entrepreneur, which was a challenge and it took some time, but I did learn a lot of things in that transition. Because as a professor, I am an authority in that space. I'm researched, I'm published in academia. I'm an expert in that space. I'm a full professor. That makes me an expert in that space. But being a full professor of business communication does not immediately make me an expert in the space of building my own business or being an entrepreneur, because I haven't done that and I haven't been in that space. When I took that expertise and transferred it from academia in the classroom and I transferred it to this new community, I had to learn how to speak about things differently. And I had to learn how to phrase things differently and really focus on what are the needs of my community. The needs of my community were no longer remembering the concepts for the tests and the exams. The needs of my community and entrepreneurs needed to understand how clear communication can help increase the return on investment and help really develop their bottom line and to help really establish the culture in their whole business so they can just earn more profit and run more efficiently and be happier at work. It's a different audience, it's a different way of communicating, and it's a different way of building authority in that space. So in that transition, I learned a few things. I've got to think about my communication, but I also have to think about how I build authority in my own space. How do I become recognized in my own space? I wanted to step into thought leadership. What does that mean for me? And what does stepping into thought leadership mean for you if you want to step into thought leadership? Or maybe you want to be a leader in a construction industry. Maybe you want to be a consultant in environmental regulations, whatever that is. Every industry is going to have its own recognizable pieces of what is building authority. When I stepped into thought leadership, and that was where I really wanted to be, then I decided to write my book that told my personal story, that walked my clients through those different steps that they need to transform their genius into an income stream. So think about what builds authority in your marketplace and what is recognized as things that are going to be developing you as a go-to person and expert in your space. I'll give you another example. I work a lot with people that want to be professional speakers. Here's a trick that we need to know is that if you want to step into the professional speaking gigs, we need to get some speaking under our belts, and we need to have some videos, and we need to have some testimonials about us speaking before we can start getting paid to be a speaker. That's what's really challenging about that. How do you build authority as a paid speaker? You get on stage. Whether you're being paid or not, you get on stage, you have some videos, you have some testimonials. That's a way you build authority. So how do you build authority in your own space, and how would people in your industry recognize that authority? The other piece that you've got to think about too, as a consultant and increasing your influence and your visibility, is positioning yourself as an expert in the space. This can happen in a few different ways, but it's all about your brand, and it's all about what you say about yourself and speaking to the audience that you want to be a part of and that you want to be involved with. If you want to be a leader, or say you want to be a corporate trainer. I have many clients that want to be a corporate trainer. They want to go into the space, they want to train in corporate. Training in corporate means that you've got to have all of your assets pretty well lined up. You need a speaker one sheet. You need an articulation of what your speaking topics are. You need to be able to speak professionally and send professional emails to the decision makers to be able to get your ideas in that space. If you want to speak in corporate and you want to train in corporate, just sending one of the vice presidents your speaker one sheet is not the way to do that. You've got to develop those relationships, and you have to position yourself as an expert in that field. Positioning yourself as an expert in that field means going to conferences. It means networking. It means starting to understand and communicate in the way that your audience sees that as a part of their community. Because remember, being a consultant and being a coach is all about building trust. And if we understand the language and we understand the communication and how to build that trust within that certain industry, that's going to give you a step up above your competition. That's another way that you differentiate, is positioning yourself as an expert. It's all about developing your personal brand. It's all about creating a website and an image that recognizes you. So when people go to research who you are, it tells exactly who you are, and then it speaks to the audience that you want to speak to. So that's all in your brand and how you present yourself. Another way that we have to think about establishing our authority and differentiating us and being seen as an expert in the field is publishing. And publishing can be a lot of different things. It's not necessarily writing a book, even though that does help. Not going to make you a millionaire, even though it is a stream of revenue, but it is a nice something that adds to your authority in the field. Another way that you can do that is to be a part of writing articles or writing for a magazine or writing blog posts. When you are seen as an expert that steps into that space and it contributes valuable information, that's really when you're going to be seen as somebody that's engaging the material, that's contributing to the industry, that cares about that education and transformation, and it also helps position you in that space. There's a way that you can get into industry publications and be writing a book or an ebook, but even publishing videos and being active in publishing content is really where we need to be. And that has everything to do with your social media and your blogs and what you're doing on YouTube. Also has everything to do with about how you can be more present online and how you can be more visible online. So publishing isn't just about books. It's about being involved with other people online and engaging in that industry standards. One other way that we can build our credibility and build our authority in our space and increase our influence and visibility is to do more speaking engagements. And that's not necessarily up in front of an audience speaking, even though that's a part of it, but being a part of conferences and industry events are a way to help position yourself in a field. If you're a HR or communication expert, you can go to any conference in any industry that you want to position yourself in front of and work in, and that can help increase your visibility there. But hosting things as webinars or workshops online or in person, that's a way to position you as an expert in that space. But even appearing on other people's podcasts or getting your idea out about how to expand, how to solve this problem or be in this industry or contribute value. That's a way that you can use speaking to really add to your visibility. The great thing about doing podcast interviews and actually having a YouTube channel where you publish your information is that you can reuse that information for lead generation. You can reuse that information, and that's what people are going to see when they research you online, is how involved is this person and what should this be included in. I think it's a really important way to kind of conclude this position or this whole idea about how we increase our authority in the marketplace and how we really begin to be able to execute this revenue blueprint that we have, which includes all of these different ways, is building authority in the marketplace. We have to be able to network with our decision makers. Who is going to make the decision about paying you money to consult or coach them on how to solve a problem? Attending people, surrounding yourself with people that are in the same space that you want to be in, or that are in a space that is already advanced of where you want to be. That's really important to network with them. And don't approach it like competition, like, oh, that person is taking my client. It's not about that. It's about learning the language. It's about networking and really being a part of your industry and being a thought leader in that community. There is the key part of business is about building relationships. And it's about building relationships with not only the decision makers that are going to bring you in as a consultant or as a coach, but it's building relationships with leaders and influencers. It's about building those referral relationships with other businesses. It's about finding businesses that synergize with what you are doing. And it's about finding a space where you can position your new offer in that market. Lots of different ways that we can think about putting together multiple streams of revenue with your thought leadership, whether you're stepping into consulting or you're stepping into coaching, whatever that is, you're trying to get more money for your book and your ideas. Here's a revenue blueprint, and here are some tips on how we can start really taking advantage of this vast marketplace we have to be able to really get our ideas out into the marketplace and build a business around what we want to contribute. So, see you at the next Consultants Corner to give you some more tips on how to make your consulting business, introduce it, launch it, elevate it, reposition it in the marketplace. Let's get you some more money for your ideas. I'll see you next time.